Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Marissa Shadrick here with another podcast episode. We are recording live, and today you might notice I am joined by my co-guest host, Kathy Farah. Hi, Kathy. How are you?
Hi, Marissa. How are you?
I'm doing great. Do you want to tell them what we're up to, what we're doing here, and why we decided to do this monthly segment? Tell them a little bit about our idea.
So our whole idea kind of originated from some of our interactions and talking about copywriting, and so we're deciding to do something where we're going through and helping people look at their landing pages to help build your audience, that opt-in page to make sure that you're drawing the right people to your audience, that it's actually doing what you were hoping and intending for. So this whole idea is to kind of just help people. It gives you a chance to promote what you've got to offer, as well as be able to make some changes that might help convert your lead magnet into actual followers on your email list.
Absolutely. And just to bring everyone up to speed, in case this is the first time you're joining us, I'm Marissa Shadrick. I am a marketing consultant. I specialize in branding, and also I'm a certified copywriter, but I love strategy. And that's where Kathy and I really meet, because Kathy also loves strategy. Do you want to introduce yourself and tell them what you do?
Yes, my name is Kathy Farah. I am a ConvertKit email marketing strategist, and companies hire me to help them with their email marketing and making sure they have their sequences in order and automation and tags and that type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we decided to partner, and why not? This is new to me, this LinkedIn Live. And
New
so
to
if
me as
I'm
well.
so if I'm making any oopses, just to give me a lot of grace, because there's a lot of buttons, a lot of things to push, and I'm trying to look here at the comments, make sure I find everything. It wasn't until the last episode, Kathy, that I found where the comments are, figure out where they were. And so I was going, I know they're here somewhere, but I'm not sure where. So anyway, today what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about headlines, because they're so important. And Kathy and I are just going to share, just as if we were like talking at a coffee shop, about headlines. And we want to just kind of share a little bit of our observations and help you really craft some great headlines. And then we're going to segment into an actual critique. And you could do this too. You could potentially be live and share your lead magnet opt in on this podcast if you're selected. And then we'll give you information on how to do that later, but we can give you some valuable tips on how to improve it. So it's a great opportunity to get some feedback on your copy. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to do that a little later on. We got an opt in that we're going to review. I'm going to try to share it so everybody can see it. And for those of you that are not watching the replay, because many of you listen on podcasts and Spotify, we're going to try to explain exactly what we're seeing so you don't feel lost. But this podcast is first recorded live on LinkedIn. Then I do all the post production work. It goes up on all your favorite podcast platforms. And I also share the video on YouTube. So all of that is on my website in the show notes. You can always find everything there. But we're going to try to be very mindful for those that are just listen only, that we explain everything very clearly so you're not lost. So we've got you covered, so don't worry. So we're going to first introduce the idea of headlines, because headlines are really important. And I think sometimes people just very quickly write a headline. They don't think about how important it is. So I'm going to kind of lead the way, Kathy, and then you just feel free to add to what I'm saying or bring in another perspective. But headlines really is the first thing people see when you're on the internet. And really everything that you see on the internet, no matter where it is, what it is, whether it's news, whether it's, some type of advertisement, whether it's a website, whether it's a social media post, all of that is copy. And the first line, which we call a headline, is what's going to stop the scroll. So can you add to that, Kathy, why that's so important?
Yeah, I mean, really, and I think we can kind of take from our own experiences on social media. We get into that mindless scrolling, and you really need a headline that's just going to grab your attention and
Hmm.
something that really stands out, and especially speaking to your right audience. So if that's not clear, it's easy just to keep scrolling past that and not stop and even take any time to read. I mean, we've got milliseconds to grab
Yeah.
someone's attention. So it really has to be impactful right at the
Yeah.
beginning.
They say, I don't know that it's true or not. I think it's probably not, but it goes around a lot that we have the attention span of a goldfish, right? We only
I
have a few
sometimes wonder.
seconds. I don't even know if they have a brain, but in any event, but yeah, and I love what you said about audience because that really is the first step is really understanding your audience. And some people sometimes guess at it and they
Right.
think, well, this is what they need. But is it what they want? Do we really understand our audience? And one of the things I love about Kathy, and we've talked about this before, we both love to research things because
Right.
that's what gives us answers. We're
Yeah.
kind of geeky that way. So we kind
Yes.
of
Yes.
laugh that we're sort of geeky. And research really helps you understand what's relevant today because maybe it was relevant 2 years ago, 3 years ago, but today, based on the external things that are going on, based on just growth too, people grow. They maybe grow out of what you offer and maybe they need something else. So understanding an audience is
Yes.
so key, right? And I
Yes.
think people are able to self identify when you're so clear. And we're going to see a little bit of that when we do a critique. So, absolutely. So, understanding the audience, I would say, if you agree with me, Kathy, that is the first step for everything,
It
for
really
everything.
is. I mean, if you take the time to do it, which I think that's one of those things that people just don't really enjoy, is doing the research and digging into that. But if you take the time to do it, it simplifies so much of what you're trying to do in writing
Yeah,
copy generally when you
it
understand
does.
and know your audience and what really matters to them. Because
Yes, I
I
agree.
know for myself, I'm this way. Like, you want to try so hard to bring value and provide relevant information to people. Um, if you're not doing the research ahead of time and have no idea what they're interested in, then you're spending all this time doing something that may not even get the attention that
Yeah.
somebody doesn't actually stop and take the time to read.
Yep. And I will be honest with you, it does take a little bit of time. But as Kathy said, it really sets the plumb line for everything else that you do. And you don't have to do it that often. That's why people do surveys and quizzes and things like that to stay up to date with the changes in the market. But in the beginning, we want to do as much research as possible. You could do market research, you can do industry research, you can even talk to your customers, right? And talk to them
Yes.
and do all this research to figure out what's happening today. And then it's just more maintenance than anything else. And you could do that with quizzes and surveys. And I love quizzes and surveys because it helps just see what you can't see for yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and
So that's
sometimes you're
important.
way off track. You know, sometimes you think you
Total
know,
fail.
and then and then once you actually talk to someone, their perspective's totally different. So it
Hmm.
just makes such a big difference when you're asking the questions. And let's be honest, when the way your brain operates, when you get a question, you kind of want to just answer. So if you ask really good questions of customers and potential customers, a lot of times people are willing to give you an answer, you know,
Hmm.
and give you an idea, which then really helps guide the rest of the things that you're doing.
Yeah. And then it also, the headline, one of the things, there's so much we could say, but we're going to try to keep this brief because we're going to be together for 20, 30 minutes. But it does attract the right people, but you also repel the wrong people.
Yes.
So, and people are so scared of that. It's like, it's for
Yes.
everyone, but
Yes.
we need to repel and we need to attract. And so the more specific we can be, that's going to help people self identify and it will repel the ones where it's not a good alignment. And that's
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
That's
And I
okay.
think the other side effect that you don't even really take into account is it's much easier for people that love working with you, it's easier for them to refer other people to you when they
Mm-hmm.
know, when it's very dialed in, when they can say, hey, this is something that this person does, and you've got that niche and sort of narrowed down. Then if you're sort of a jack of all trades, then it sometimes is a little hard for people to know, who do I tell? How do I tell people about you? Because I'm not really sure what you do.
Yeah, exactly. What is it you
Yeah. Yeah.
do? That's why I like friends like Kathy, because I understand what she does. Sometimes when I talk to my husband, he's like, what is it that you do? Like,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Exactly.
But yeah,
Exactly.
so and be able to communicate that, and then not only does it attract and repel, but you can also communicate the big idea, which is Kathy, what you were saying about that clarity, so that people understand what is this about. You don't want to have to get people to read down below and scroll down because there's not enough time, as Kathy pointed out. You only have a few seconds, and if they have to read all the way down to figure out what this is about, you lost them.
Right.
So would you agree on that?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would agree. And I think that people a lot of times won't even take that much time. So if it's not really clear, I mean, that's sort of the goal of your headline, is to get them into the body of where you spent your time pulling together
Mm-hmm.
all the information. If you don't really capture their attention, they may not even take the time to look at the rest of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Probably in another segment, we'll talk about, expanding on the headline and bullets because they're kind of within the same family. They're like
Yeah.
cousins, but we're going to
Yeah.
keep this real simple. Now, I wanted to touch very quickly before we do a critique, common mistakes of headlines. What's been your observation of common mistakes that you've seen?
That it's not clear what
Yeah.
they're trying to communicate, or they're using terminology that doesn't make sense to the audience. So sometimes I think
Yes.
we all are a little guilty of this. When you do what you do, you speak in those terms. And when you assume that maybe your customers think that same way, and really it helping to know where they are in their awareness of what you offer makes a big
Mm-hmm.
difference. If you're using just a lot of terminology, I've noticed that a lot in different headlines where it's like, especially if they haven't emailed me in a while, all of a sudden there's terminology I don't even recognize. Generally, I'm not even going to take the time to open the email to figure out what they're talking about. So you
Mm-hmm.
lose people sometimes, even if the message was really great inside the headline, it was just not really clear what you were trying to do, or it was too complicated.
Yeah.
It didn't make a lot of sense because of the terminology you're using that didn't resonate with me or with
Yeah. We'll
somebody,
definitely
your customer's awareness
definitely
journey.
yeah, we'll definitely have to do a segment on email subject lines too, because that's your expertise.
Yes.
So,
Sorry. Yeah.
but it's all related. It's all
Yeah.
related, right? The title of a book, what's a headline, right?
Yeah.
So we see it everywhere, but we don't realize it. So I
Right.
agree. The terminology, the jargon, we want to avoid jargon, and we are guilty of it. Sometimes we don't realize, depending on where they are in the customer journey, it's always good to explain things and make it as clear and simple. Sometimes people want to be smart and clever rather
Yes.
than simple and clear. Simple and clear is always the way I lean, and it's not a reflection on your education or anything. It's just making sure that you're communicating in that little wee amount of time that you have so they understand what you're saying. So absolutely. I think so too. And I think one of the things I've noticed too, it's not really outcome based. There's not really a promise or an outcome or something in it. There's a title, but I'm not sure why should I continue. It's that what's in it
Right.
for me, like
Yeah.
why.
Yeah,
So
I would
that's a common
agree. I
mistake.
think one thing that I've noticed is sometimes people spend a lot of time writing about themselves, like selling
Yes.
themselves instead
Yeah.
of thinking the whole time that really, and I think, like I said, if you put yourself in the shoes of your prospect, you think that way too. Like, what's in it for me? Why would I want to spend my time doing this? So if you're telling me all the great things you do, it doesn't necessarily click very early on. So, especially if you're trying to grab attention from a headline.
Yeah. No, good point. I agree. I agree. So, what do you say we segment into the critique?
Yeah.
And that way, maybe we can point out some things about headlines and we can go a little further because example is always a great way. And if you're
Yes.
listening to the replay, we are going to be very conscious to try to explain what we see so you don't feel lost. But in the show notes on my website, I will have the video also included. So, don't worry. We're going to walk through this together. This is like the first for us. So
Yeah,
let's see how we can do
exactly.
it. Because I actually have to share a screen. Oh dear. So let me see if
I,
I can do
I know
this
you're
now.
adding all this complicated technology.
I'm adding the technology. Although I love tech, but it's not always the most reliable thing. First, I'm going to make it a lot bigger because I think it makes it easier for everyone to see. So let me see if I can make it big.
Yes,
And
that
that
is
way we
definitely
can
my
see.
case, is I like to see things very big.
Yeah, so I'm going to just say entire screen, I guess. I'm going to click here and hopefully everyone can see that. I'm waiting to see for the feed, see if it's coming through. So there's a
Yes, I can
delay on
see it.
there. Okay, you can see it. There's a delay on what I'm looking at. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it's working. So this one was submitted to us and I first love it because what we're seeing is a white background, an image on the right, text on the left, lots of white space, which is always good to have because you
Yes.
don't want people, again, we just talked about making it bigger and visibility,
Yes.
right? You want to make it easy. And as I scroll down, there's limited color, which is good. There's a little on the right side where you see the image right below it is the box with the fields to put your name and email. So all the copy is on the left, even though there's some copy in the image and also in the subscriber box. So it's very simple. It looks like it was created in ConvertKit. So that's
Yes.
your wheelhouse, right?
Yes. Well, and I think the other
So
thing that I notice here too is that it's mostly black font on white. So I think
mhm.
that's something we want to be creative. And for those of us that struggle with our vision and different backgrounds, it's surprising how you'd be surprised at how many people actually have trouble seeing different colored font on
Mhm.
dark backgrounds,
Yep.
and how important it is just to keep it simple and keep it the black font on the white
Yeah.
background.
And even if you notice, Kathy, there is one piece of text that's the very first line on the left, which we would call in copy the eyebrow, kind of to
Yes.
catch people's attention, and it's in a different color. And
Yes.
although it looks very pretty to have it in a different color that kind of matches the box where you sign up, it is harder to read. And
Yeah.
so sometimes it's best to give everyone the simplicity to see everything well rather than aesthetically try to match colors, especially when it comes to copy. I think the contrast in the image where it actually has the title of the free resource is well done because there's a nice blue background with white text, and then the actual box has sort of like a, what would you call it, a teal or green
Yeah. Yeah. Probably
background.
seafoam green is what popped to my mind.
Oh, look at that fancy title. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's and it's got black text with a
Yes.
blue button. So love it. So let's talk a little bit about the copy. Um, as I read it on the left, and the image on the right just simply says your inner voice, and then it says rewrite your negative self-talk to create a mindset for success. See, I'm struggling to read it. Only it's not. This is Janine, by the way, who submitted this. It's not Janine. It is age.
Yeah.
So it's my eyes. So
Yeah.
in any event,
That's me too.
it looks great. On the left, we have the eyebrow that says we have 6,000 thoughts a day. What do you think, Kathy?
I think that grabs your attention because I don't think you really take that into account, how many thoughts are going through someone's mind,
Yeah.
like all of us.
An eyebrow is a great way to catch attention. And what I normally tell people is think of something that will shock them,
Yeah.
inspire them, inform them, enrage them, what would it be? And obviously, you're going to craft it and tweak it. But if you start there, you begin to think outside the box and begin to think of something that would be a great eyebrow. Now, for this one, the only suggestion I would make, and it's really, tomato, tomato, is I would say you have 6,000 thoughts a day. I would make it more about them.
Yeah.
That's all. Yep. Other than that, I think it's excellent to have that type of eyebrow, because that's a great reminder for me. 6,000 thoughts a day. No wonder I'm so tired at the end of the day. I've got a brain cramp.
That's how I feel.
I've got a brain cramp. And so the headline now, that's nice and big. It's larger and it's bold. Before we read the rest of the text, says, your thoughts can propel you forward or keep you stuck in the same patterns. What do you think of that, Kathy?
I like that, because I do think that's true. So, what it would tell me when I read that is like, yes, you think about, if you are thinking something negative, you can get yourself, create anxiety or fear. So you can tell, your thoughts have such an impact. So I like that, as far as it grabs my attention.
Mm-hmm. And let me keep reading a little bit below that, because I like the way it's crafted. No question about that. It's crafted well. Let's read below it. This is in not bold, and it's the paragraph right below it. It says, becoming aware and intentional with your self-talk and the stories you tell yourself is a key step toward reaching your goals and your full potential. Now, this is good. I'm not saying that. What I would love to see is more of that second paragraph crafted in a way that becomes like a promise, and it's on top.
Okay. Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a promise there, becoming aware and intentional with your self-talk, and the stories you tell yourself is a key step toward reaching your goals and your full potential. So it could be simplified. What do you think, Cap? Here we're on the fly.
Yeah, I was thinking it maybe. I was going to say, even if you were to take it and simplify that and not add the self-talk part, but become aware and intentional with the stories you tell yourself, is a key step towards reaching your goals and your full potential.
Exactly.
Like it just simplifies that thought, because I think all of us sort of can relate to that idea of the stories that we tell ourselves.
Yep. So it would be something in the same line what Kathy was saying. Your self-talk and the stories you tell yourself will help, is key to help you reach your goals and your full potential. So now it's sort of like saying, here's the answer. Here's the answer. Your self-talk and your stories can help you reach that potential you want. There's a more of a suggested promise in there. And then I would, because somehow I love that your thoughts can propel you forward or keep you stuck in the same patterns. But I think that the headline needs to have outcome based and needs to suggest a promise of some sort to keep me reading. So we're really being nitpicky. This lead magnet is done very well. Yes. I'm just seeing if there's a way we can make it stronger. So it's not that it's wrong, is that can we make it stronger? And would it help to put that headline with the promise and outcome on top so that people say, yeah, that's what I want and that's what I need. And then as we continue to read below it, there's not a lot of copy in there. Start creating a new inner dialogue for success today, because your thoughts can propel you forward or keep you stuck in the same patterns. See how I just move that below? And it kind of flows. Start creating a new inner dialogue for success today, because your thoughts, it could be ... and below it, because your thoughts can propel you forward or keep you stuck in the same patterns.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. I like that.
So it can
just rearrange that a little bit.
Just rearrange it a little bit and make the second paragraph below that talks about how the self-talk and stories that we tell ourselves can help us reach our goals and our potential on top, like a promise, and then move that below. And then we have a lot of white space Um, she continued with download your free guide today. Then it says your inner voice, rewrite the negative self talk to create a mindset for success. That's the name of the lead magnet. This guide will help you too. And then she's got some bullets on there. So, one of the suggestions here, because we've got, and I think it's part of his layout too, because there's a lot of space in between. So, if you did say something, start creating your inner dialogue for success today, because your thoughts can propel you forward or keep you stuck in the same patterns. Download, you could say something like download your inner voice, rewrite your negative self-talk, create a mindset for success resource. And then you could says this guide, or guide, you could say guide, this guide, and then continue to say what it does. And then below the bullets, the call to action. So I always like, and what do you think, Kathy? I always like the call to action to be bold, big, and last.
Yes. Yes, I
What do you
agree.
think?
Yeah,
And
so that
why?
that way they know what the obvious next step is.
Mhm.
And that's something I think we don't really think about. Like, we want them to end with, okay, we want them to take that action.
Yes, exactly. Like the last thing we read is to take the action. Here we've
Yeah.
told you what it is, why it's great, because we're explaining this guide will help, and we haven't done the bullets yet, but we explain why, and then the call to action, because we don't want the call to action to be buried either. And
Right.
so and we want it nice and bold. And I love the fact that she started the call to action with a verb. Yay, 2 extra
Yes.
points for that.
So action. Yes. Yeah, I like
Action.
that.
Download your free guide today.
Yeah.
I love it. Start it with a verb rather
Yeah.
than,
So having that
all of them.
download under the bullets.
Yeah. And so the bullet simply says build an awareness of your thoughts, discover key questions to explore your current thoughts, craft new thought patterns, retrain your self talk to create a more supportive mindset.
And
So,
Marissa, I want to add something for actually something you had taught me a while back about the way bullets should work. Is that idea of when you're writing out your bullets, that you want to keep attaching it to the sentence you created above your bullet. So this guide will help to build. This guide will help to discover, and read those
mhm.
sentences like that separately to make sure that it's a logical bullet,
Yes.
on top of it being action oriented words that start off each bullet. But
Hmm.
that's a helpful way to make sure the bullets all kind of correspond with what you're trying to say in the sentence prior to.
Which Janine did very well. She did
Yes.
that. It
Yes.
all flows. I
Yep.
would put those bullets like right under. This guide will help you to not create that big gap.
Yeah.
So I
Maybe
think
short, just a little bit
that's
less
more of a
white space.
design.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's more a design thing
Yeah.
than copy thing. So and that will help. And so that's great because and she started each bullet with a verb. Did you see that? She did
Yes.
a good job with that.
Yes, she
So
did.
kudos for that. Love it.
Yeah.
It's all very good. I would just kind of rearrange a few little things and kind of eliminate some of that extra white space. The only thing, let me see here. Is there anything that you would add or subtract or change looking at this?
Um, I mean, having it up a little bit where, and see, I don't know how this resonates on the screen, as far as like I would always test on your cell phone as well
Yes.
as on your desktop, because it could all be that you could see it without having to scroll back and forth like we're having to do today. But if not, I would want to shrink things a little bit to where I could see it all on the screen without having to let it scroll. So it's possible it does that already. But
So
it's not a
here's at
bad idea to
100.
test
Yeah.
that.
Here's at
Okay, and it could
100%.
be that we're just both trying to see it. So,
So here's at 100%. The one thing that I think, and again, tomato, tomato, I don't know who this is unless I can see that tiny, tiny name in the actual lead magnet
right,
image.
having
It,
something more that tells who's offering
yeah,
this.
I would love to see that. And she's got room here. If you eliminate some of this white space, you could say about Janine and put in a little bit about who she is, because I want to know, well, who is this offering this to me? So that was
Yeah.
like one thing that I thought maybe that will help as well. Some people can, since you have room, you might be able to put it right here, just a little bit of text in there, maybe even a little circle bubble with your face on it, could be
Yeah.
potentially helpful too. Some people, depending on the design, do it as another horizontal piece. But I think overall, I think she did a great job. I would just rearrange a couple of things. I think this is a great lead magnet, especially because we all have that internal dialogue that can derail us. So
Yes. And I think
kudos
the
to
timing of
Janine.
this is really, applies really well to where a lot of us are in January in 2024. I've been hearing people talk a lot about wanting to change the way they're, looking at the new year. So, I mean, I think this is pretty timely, too. You could use this anytime, but I think especially
Mhm.
January, the beginning of the year, we'd like to.
So you can, Janine is Jenine, and her last name is it pronounced Kamins? Kamins? Kamins?
Caymans, yeah.
Kamins? Camins. And so you can go and take a look at that. Lead magnet might be something you want to download. So that's very helpful. So kudos to Janine for being the first one to submit a
Yes.
piece of copy, because it can feel scary for some people
Yes.
to do that. And they're going, I don't know if I want to do that. But just consider the fact that we're doing this in love and we're trying to help you make it better, not to criticize it, because most people, they've got it dialed in, but we're too close to our own stuff. And
Yeah.
sometimes we need a second pair of eyes. I need a second pair of eyes.
Yes,
So
I
it's always
absolutely. And
helpful.
that's, yeah. So, yeah, that's great that she trusted us to do this lovingly and put herself
So
out there for sure.
I know, I know. Put herself, and plus, it's a great way to promote your lead magnet, right?
Yes.
So if you want to do this as well and be considered for a critique, we critique either a lead magnet opt-in, or if you want us to critique the website homepage, we can't guarantee that you'll be selected. Just depends on supply and demand, but we can certainly take in consideration. There's a way for you to submit the piece. You just go to, where do you go? marissashadrick.com/critique.
Podcast
Oh,
show,
yeah.
I think it is.
Is it podcast show? Do I have two
Yeah, I
links
think
for it?
so.
Do I have two links? So either one of those would
Oh,
work.
maybe you do.
Let's see. Let's see if is it podcast show? Podcast show, I think, is my website.
Oh, okay.
So let me take a look at what that is. So I told you we were just doing this is the first one. So podcast show, I think, is my website that mentions that. But if you want to go directly to
I
the
see.
form, if you
Okay.
want, so either one will work. You could either go to my website and you see where we talk about it, and there's a place there. Or if you want to go directly to the form, if you're saying, oh, I want to do that right now, I want to fill it out, then you can go to marissashadrick.com/critique. It'll both take you to the same place.
Okay.
Wherever you want to go, you can.
Yeah,
go
I think
either
I've
one
been
of those.
telling people about the podcast show and then saying, go to the bottom and you'll see click here and click
Yeah.
here and you'll go, go straight to the form. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, your way is probably a lot more direct.
That's why I thought I better do one that's more direct, because maybe they can't scroll down and see it, and then we don't want anybody mad at us. So,
Yeah.
So either one works. We got you covered. We're trying to
Yes.
figure out the easiest way to do that. So thank you to Janine for submitting that. I really appreciate that, letting us debut our segment. And Kathy, thank you for joining me too.
Can we also mention her website? I think it's uqmindfulness.com is where you can find this lead magnet.
I think it is.
Sign up there.
You know what? Let me do this. Let me copy and paste.
Put it in the comments that you found last time.
I think this is going the right place. I have no idea. So let's see where it goes. I just put it in some kind of comment. I don't know if it's, hopefully it'll be right under the video.
So if you find it, hopefully you'll find it in there.
As we do this, it will be more professional.
Yes. Yes. This is new to both of us. So we appreciate everybody's.
But you know what? This is just
imperfect action.
Yeah. That's the moral of the story. just get going. You know, it's
Yes.
not gonna, it's
Take
not life
action.
and death, right? It's not
Yes.
life and death.
Just say
So
yes and do it.
yes. And the other thing I do want to share with you guys is Kathy and I are partnering. I created a training called Copy Connection, and it is meant for people, busy people that want to learn the principles of copy in an easy way, spend maybe a couple hours a week improving their copy. That includes the training, and have somebody do a critique for them and answer questions for them, like Kathy and I. And so, if that sounds of interest, it's not ready yet. I have to do some updates in it, but it is certainly something that if you want to get on the wait list, I'll put that into. I don't know where these are landing. I'm putting them in some comment
Hopefully
thing.
everybody's
But
seeing this because, I was going to say Marissa does such a wonderful job of teaching copywriting in an easy way. And frankly, I think we can all benefit from learning copy because you're writing it all the time, right? For everything you do. If you're in a small business, if service provider, coach, consultant, you're writing copy all the time. Even if you don't think of yourself as a copywriter, you want to get people to take action and take the next step with you. And so just learning some of the techniques, Marissa does a great job of just getting
oh,
straight to the point and helping you see how to make things better. And you just will have a lot more confidence in writing all the things you have to write all the time.
so we want you to connect with us on LinkedIn
Yes.
and connect with Kathy. If you have email fatigue and you're not sure what's going on with your emails, reach out to her. Reach out first, follow, connect with her, then DM her. That's why we're here. And if you have any questions about online business strategy, reach out to me. Obviously, copywriting or branding, you can reach out to me. I really camp in the strategy portion and prospecting, but reach out on LinkedIn. It's a great way to grow the connections. You never know, right?
Yes.
Referrals can come from it, recommendations. You just never know the opportunities, and we need to build our network.
Yeah.
So I would encourage you to reach out. Let us know how we did in this first month.
Yes. Yes.
Be
Honest
kind.
feedback. That will be great. We'll get better and better each week or each month that we do this. So,
Yeah, we just said feedback is good, and we're going, give us some feedback. And so, yeah,
except to me. Yeah.
except to me. No, for us too. Go ahead and give us some feedback. Let us
Yeah.
know how we could do things better. If you're a pro on Riverside and LinkedIn doing these live, let me know if I can improve in any way. So, anyway, until next time, Kathy, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. And this is going to be
Yes.
fun
Thank you.
doing this journey with you.
Yeah, this has been fun. And I appreciate you thinking to invite me to do this with you. I'm excited about these opportunities.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Any last words, Kathy, for everyone?
No, I'm just glad that everybody showed up and, hopefully you'll gain some value from this. And please submit your, opt in or homepage because, I mean, all of us, I think, we can use a little bit of, feedback to help us convert and build our, audience. I mean, I think that's
Yeah.
probably the big thing I keep hearing in 2024 is building deeper connections with people. And wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
that be great? Helps
And
us
it's
increase our
free
business.
publicity. It's free
Huh?
publicity. It's free
Yes. Yes. See,
publicity.
that's the great thing. If you just push yourself out there a little bit in the long run, it, hopefully pays off. So
Yeah.
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 Thanks,
All
Marissa.
right. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. And we will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.